I'm still noticing a geographical and historical context missing. I'm trying to work out what kind of a chronology of the children had while they've been at Peel Point.
Because our topic's been
the World War
20th century events. But we've had quite a lot of practical. We've had VE days and we've been doing lots of research on the internet and things like that.
But what about further back? We know about the Magna Carta and all this kind of stuff?
No, we only do certain topics every year. We can't cover everything in 1 year.
But I've never heard him speak of this stuff all through the school, is what I'm saying. I don't know.
Right.
No, I'm trying to work out what kind of...
No, for a full term we've been doing important events in the 20th century.
Yeah.
And that's history?
No, because different year groups do different aspects of the history. So, for instance, Year 4 have just done Egyptians. And then they do Greeks in Year 3, and, you know, we stagger it through. And
I've also been waiting to hear from him when he's done something on geography, and he hasn't mentioned it yet.
No, that was last time when we did about the forests, because it's on like a rolling programme. So in Year 5 they do a geography topic, a history topic, then they come to Year 6 do a geography topic, a history topic.
But they don't get a constant grasp on history itself at all. They don't, do they? I mean, it's the education system that I'm questioning here, not yourself.
Yeah, you mean do they do a history lesson every week?
Do they have any idea of what history is my thing, on geography? Because they don't seem to.
Yes, they do, because we teach skills. So we teach the skills throughout the school.
Skill. Well, what I'm trying to say is, before I left primary school, I knew Magna Carta, Norman invasion, Rome, all that stuff. We knew that as an history, and then obviously certain history, War of the Roses, Henry VIII. Yeah, right up to the 20th century, but they don't seem to have anything. Now, I do know he's come home and spoke about Hitler and asked me about the war, etc., etc. So
because that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, but they never come back and ask me anything else about anything else. You know what I mean? And I've got maps up, and they struggle to see what's where. They know where England is, and that's pretty much it.
Right. Because we do a lot of cross-curricular geography as well, and we have a ship that sails around the world, and we've got a plane now, and we do that together, and we have a big map up and talk about journeys and continents and things like that.
But surely as teachers, and especially with your experience, the children are not getting the education we had. We had a clear, fixed idea of what history was. We knew what the globe was. We knew basically where East was, India, America, Africa, etc. But these kids today are not getting any such thing, and they certainly haven't got a grasp on history. So I just wonder what they're...
different history topics
But it's not like we used to have. We used to have a subject history, subject geography,
you would,
RE, maths,
you would have
English.
a history book, and a lot of it was done through textbooks, wasn't it, and reading up and that sort of thing.
But this is going to carry on in high school as well. So it's like they're not actually getting, through these education systems that we're paying for today, they're not actually getting what we think they're getting as parents. And parents don't know this. But surely you guys have noticed this on the ground, and it's completely different. Especially you yourself. I mean, you're probably a bit... No, but you must have come through a similar education system. I know it changed in '84, but it's a huge loss, I think.
What we have to follow is the national curriculum, and we've got statutory programmes of study. And if you actually look at the programmes of study, it isn't that much. But it's the skills associated that we try and teach.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but I think what I'm trying to say as a parent, sat at home with no clue what's going on at school, I can see a massive difference. That they're not, whatever is going on, whether they call it skills-based or what, they're not actually learning what high classes they need to be learning just to understand the surroundings by the time they're 16. And not just where they live, but the wider world. And I don't think they're getting that. I think they're missing that. And I don't think that should be accepted.
A lot of that is knowledge-based, isn't it? And what we're teaching are the skills about research and finding out. So no matter what history topic it is, they get those vital skills in terms of putting together, how things...
But you're then suggesting that you're expecting them to do this outside of school, which they're not going to do. They come home from school, uniforms off and out. That's the... If you're preparing them to do the research themselves, you know quite well they're not going to do it. So I don't think that's preparing our children in the right way, I'm sure. At some point, teachers are going to have to stand up in there and just say, look, just wait a minute, what kind of children are we producing? Because these guys are going to be in our police, in our military, in our politics in a bit. Well, what kind of people are we going to have in these situations if they haven't even got they can't even understand their own surroundings?
Well, that's what we're basically teaching them in primary.
And you say specifically that's statutory guidelines.
The programmes of study are statutory.
So they're all statutory?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that nasty word again. Can I ask you one question that I found? What's Andrel Education Limited, which I'm seeing plastered on his pages in the, is it topics? Writing journal, sorry. With...
Is that the marking?
Would you like me to get it out and show you? It's these...
All right, yeah.
These. What's that?
Right, well, that Andrel Education is an education company that have put together criteria that helps you to mark children's work.
So a private corporation is now basically dictating how you basically judge the capacity of a child and how he's going on. Is that what's basically going on?
It's based on the national curriculum levels.
But you've presented to me that this is a corporation. Now what I'm saying is, if that's the case and these are the guidelines of how this lady is to market, then surely a private corporation is telling you on what basis to judge the children. Now surely that's a shift from the education system which we are supposed to be paying for through the civil system, because we're still getting tax for it and we're paying for it somehow. But then it's suggesting that actually we're paying for it but we're not getting anything out of it, because the money's going to a private corporation who's then dictating to teachers, yourself included, how you should approach sort of like the judgment of a child. And basically, so what are you actually judging them on and giving them marks? Why? Because it's not for knowledge capacity. What is it that you're marking on? Is it, do they understand it in this particular way? Because I looked in here as well and it said choices on topics, and it was about food, and it just went through minerals. What about the chemicals that are in it? Because there's a lot more chemicals in a product today than there are vitamins, minerals, etc. But no mention. And you're saying though, clearly, are you making the right choice? So clearly if you're suggesting that what you've put on offer, one of those is the right choice, I'd have to say absolutely it isn't, because you haven't given them all the information, so how can they possibly make the right choice? So I'm saying again, if this is corporate dictation, then basically you guys are operating as we believe as a taxpayer, for us, for the benefit of the children, but in reality, you poor guys are on the front line doing what the corporations tell you to do. Yet, liability lies with me and you as taxpayers, because, of course, there's a slight deception there.
Shall we talk about how Elias is doing in relation to what we've talked about now, which is national curriculum levels?
Yes, please do.